shadows of history.
On March 8, 2014, a commercial flight departed from Kuala Lumpur carrying 239 people on board. The flight path was routine, the weather was stable, and the initial communication between the cockpit and air traffic control was normal. Nothing suggested that anything unusual was about to happen, but within less than an hour, that changed. The aircraft disappeared from radar. No distress call, no emergency signal, just silence. In aviation, systems are built to prevent exactly this scenario. Multiple layers of tracking, communication, and redundancy are designed to ensure that an aircraft is never completely lost. And yet, in this case, those systems failed to provide a clear answer. The disappearance was not just unexpected, it was unprecedented. And from that moment forward, the question was no longer about the flight itself, but about how something so large could simply vanish. Within hours of the aircraft's disappearance, search operations began. Initially, efforts were concentrated in the South China Sea based on the last known radar position. Multiple countries deployed resources, naval vessels, surveillance aircraft, and satellite imaging systems. The scale of the operation reflected the urgency of the situation. But as hours turned into days, the absence of debris began to raise concerns. In most aviation incidents, some form of wreckage is found relatively quickly. In this case, there was nothing. No confirmed debris field, no distress signals, no clear indicators of impact. As more data became available, investigators were forced to reconsider the initial assumptions. The search area shifted, and with each shift, the complexity of the operation increased, because in an investigation like this, every new possibility expands the uncertainty. Although the aircraft disappeared from radar, it did not vanish completely. Satellite communication data provided a different kind of signal, one that did not reveal the exact location, but suggested movement. Engineers from Inmarsat analyzed a series of automated handshakes between the aircraft and a satellite. These signals indicated that the plane continued flying for several hours after it lost contact with air traffic control. Using this data, investigators were able to calculate possible flight paths. The result was not a precise route, but a series of arcs stretching across vast areas of ocean. This narrowed the search, but also introduced new uncertainty, because while the data suggested direction, it did not explain intent. It showed where the aircraft might have gone, but not why it went there. And in an investigation like this, direction without explanation only deepens the mystery. As satellite data was analyzed, investigators began to consider a different possibility. Instead of turning north, the aircraft may have traveled south, deep into the Indian Ocean. This conclusion was based on mathematical modeling of satellite signals, not direct tracking. It suggested a path that led into one of the most remote regions on Earth. The implications were significant. The southern Indian Ocean is vast, isolated, and extremely difficult to search. Weather conditions are unpredictable, ocean depths are extreme, and human presence is minimal. Redirecting the search to this area was a major decision, one based on the best available data, but still carrying uncertainty. Because while the model indicated a direction, it did not provide a precise location, and searching a vast ocean based on probability is fundamentally different from searching based on confirmed evidence. One of the most unusual aspects of this case is the absence of immediate physical evidence. In most aviation accidents, debris provides critical clues. It helps investigators determine the cause, the sequence of events, and the final moments of the aircraft. But in this case, weeks passed without confirmed findings. This absence created a gap between expectation and reality. Investigators were working with data, but without physical confirmation, and that limitation matters, because data can suggest possibilities, but evidence is needed to confirm them. Without debris,
Many questions remain open. Was the aircraft intact until impact? Did it break apart earlier? Where exactly did it enter the water? These are not minor details. They are central to understanding what happened. And without answers, the investigation remains incomplete.
More than a year after the disappearance, a piece of debris was discovered on Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. It was identified as a flaperon, a control surface from the wing of an aircraft. After detailed analysis, it was confirmed to be from MH370. This was the first physical evidence linking the aircraft to the southern Indian Ocean. Additional debris was later found along the eastern coast of Africa and nearby islands. These discoveries supported the theory that the aircraft had entered the ocean in that region. But even with this evidence, key questions remained. The debris confirmed location, but not cause. It showed where the aircraft likely ended, but not how or why it got there. And in an investigation like this, partial answers can sometimes raise even more questions. Despite one of the largest search efforts in aviation history, the results remained limited. The search area covered vast sections of the Indian Ocean, one of the most remote and challenging environments on Earth. Advanced sonar technology scanned the seabed. Autonomous underwater vehicles explored depths rarely reached, and yet no confirmed wreckage was found within the primary search zones. This raised difficult questions about the accuracy of the data, the assumptions used in the analysis, and the possibility that the aircraft may not have followed the predicted path. Investigators were working with incomplete information, trying to reconstruct an event that left almost no physical trace. And in such conditions, even the most advanced technology has limitations, because searching an ocean is not like searching land. It is searching a space where visibility is minimal, conditions are unpredictable, and the margin for error is immense. Over time, several theories have been proposed to explain the disappearance. Some focus on mechanical failure, others consider human factors. Still others explore more complex scenarios involving multiple variables. Each theory is based on available data, but none can fully account for all aspects of the case. This is not unusual in complex investigations. When information is incomplete, multiple interpretations can exist simultaneously. What matters is how those interpretations are evaluated. In official investigations, conclusions must be supported by evidence, not assumption. And in this case, the evidence does not point clearly to a single explanation. That is why the final reports remain cautious. They present findings, outline possibilities, and acknowledge limitations, because in the absence of complete data, certainty is not possible. Despite years of investigation, key questions remain unanswered. The exact location of the main wreckage has not been confirmed. The sequence of events inside the aircraft is unknown, and the reason for the deviation from its original flight path remains unclear. These gaps are not due to lack of effort. They are the result of the limitations inherent in the case. The ocean is vast, the data is incomplete, and the timeline contains moments that cannot be fully reconstructed. Official reports acknowledge these limitations. They provide the most accurate conclusions possible based on available evidence, but they do not claim to have solved the mystery completely. And that distinction is important, because in some cases, the absence of answers is not a failure of investigation, it is a reflection of reality. Not every event leaves behind enough evidence to be fully understood. More than a decade later, the disappearance remains unresolved. Official reports have provided data, analysis, and conclusions based on available evidence, but they have not provided a complete explanation. And that distinction matters, because there is a difference between what is known and what can be proven. In the case of MH370, the known facts form a framework, but within that framework there are gaps, moments where information is missing, unclear, or open to interpretation.
These gaps are not unusual in complex investigations, but in this case, they define the story, because what is missing is not just the aircraft, but the full understanding of what happened. If you want to explore the stories where facts exist, but answers don't fully follow, subscribe to Shadows of History.